Well, if there's one thing we've learned, the last thing you need to do is take stupid penalties against the best penalty or the best power play in the history of the NHL. Hello, everyone. Welcome in to Blues Hub Postgame, Blues Central Postgame here on STL Sports Central, which is sponsored by DraftKings. Crown is yours, and also by Drink Thunder. Fuel your fire with Drink Thunder, the all-natural pre-workout that hits different, plant-based fruit power, zero sugar, sweet naturally with monk fruit. Each serving is packed with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to ignite energy and push your performance to the next level. Choose your flavor: orange mango, black vanilla, strawberry cream. Feel the rest the natural way. Order now at drinkthunder.com. Drink Thunder, pure power, no crash, all natural. That's got to be a record for me now, right there. I think every single comment here is valuable. I don't know where it's on point. I don't know where to start. I'm going to be honest, because I think the way I can just say about this game is that it was a hockey team that looked like a hockey team, but still looked awful at the same time. Because this is the first time I think I've seen the Blues where they've actually created offense, but still looked, what's the best way to put it? Ass today. They still put in decent offense. They got a handful of shots on goal. I mean, they only got outshot once, 28-27, but nothing was grade A. I think they had one good chance throughout the entire night. I mean, seriously, what is going on? Blues fall. Edmonton Oilers tonight, 5-0. I think we're just going to start with this. Obviously, hope Sonny's okay. We all do. It was a scary injury. Luckily, nothing was seen, at least, to our eyes. Obviously, by the looks of just the emotions and the body language of the players, it was not good. That's for sure. But we hope to God that it's not something, well, definitely not life-threatening, but something that's season-ending for Sonny. So we really hope he's doing all right. But I want to start off here with D Brown's 1480 here. This isn't goaltending. The team is bad. This was the first time in a while, I will say, Jordan Binnington played well while allowing 5 goals, because on every single goal, he was hung out to dry. There's only one goal I think he may want one back that he still was still just a good shot. That was the Zach Hyman second goal, where it was just a beautiful play on the one-timer. But the defense was awful tonight. Awful. Left him out to dry. There was no coverage. There was just nothing. There was not a single person was picked up outside of the crease, and it came back to bite him. They give up just about every single goal like that, either off a rebound or off an odd-man rush. Just one snipe that still could have been prevented with coverage. There was no good defensive coverage here tonight at all.
Yeah, and credit to the Edmonton Oilers and obviously Connor McDavid, because they've kind of been awesome performance by them. Kind of been going on a tangent, on a heater, and trying to turn their season around, getting good, some solid goaltending from Connor Ingram as of late, and I think Tristan Jarry came back for them too recently. So, if you're an Oilers fan, I think for the last couple of years, your biggest gripe has been goaltending, and it seems like, slowly but surely they're starting to put the pieces together to kind of figure that out. But Connor McDavid doing Connor McDavid things, Leon Draisaitl not even in the lineup, and still giving the St. Louis Blues fits, which seemed like a reoccurring theme for the St. Louis Blues. Like, even in games where they are winning, it's like, yeah, they won, but Braden Point wasn't in the lineup for the Tampa Bay Lightning, or either that or struggling against teams that are on the second half of a back-to-back, which the Edmonton Oilers were, I believe. So, and then Ace Rob comes in the chat and says, power play is horrible. PK is horrible. And I will say, to the Oilers' credit, best power play in the league, and one of historical magnitude. But the point remains, right? It's not just this game. We have a large sample size of our special teams failing. And this is the biggest gripe for me, chat. I would love for you guys to sound off on this. Tell me how you guys feel about it. But it's getting to the point to where, we always talk about the worst place you can possibly be in the NHL is the mushy middle, or really any sports league, is if you're not making the playoffs and you're also not in odds for a lottery, you're just constantly in this gray area of in between status, and you don't know whether to fully tank or fully commit to like a playoffs, and you just get ping pong in between there. It feels like the Blues are kind of there right now, or at least we're led to believe that this team's never going to tank. And then they put together, 2 wins multiple times throughout the course of the season and can't get to 3 wins to save their life. Like that feels like my Stanley Cup right now is like, I would just love for this team to win 3 games in a row. At least the Rams won. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Just make my day worse. Yeah, bring that one up.
Irma ban Jeremy Hodge from now on. We don't bring that awfulness into this.
Samuel House says, so are you buying, selling, or staying the course? I think that's the biggest issue for me.
Yeah.
I don't
I
don't think that there's any scenario with the play that you're seeing from this team right now and the inconsistencies that are rearing its head, the injuries that keep popping up. My God, like Oscar Sundqvist just gets banged up every season, and just like the absolute, worst case scenario, like seeing a guy that wears St. Louis proudly and wears the Blues note proudly go down like that, and not putting weight on his leg. It's just like right on the first night that we get Dylan Holloway back from injury. It's like, God, dude, like this team's just going through everything. But I'll circle back to it. I don't think staying the course right now is a scenario in anybody's minds. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. That makes sense. Like if you're going to push for the playoffs, like this team's not good enough to make the playoffs. So add somebody if you believe that this team is close, or if you want this team to make the playoffs. If you're Doug Armstrong, if you don't think this team's anywhere close, if you just gonna sell on this season or whatever and be like, oh, we'll get them next time, and you're Doug Armstrong, sell, like move some pieces. Like there's obviously a market for Jordan Binnington, and Joel Hofer is playing well right now. Chat's popping off about that too. Like I love Jordan Binnington. He brought us the Stanley Cup. I'm so tired of just having like goaltending conversations left and right about like, oh, it's 5 goals in the back of the net, Jordan Binnington's fault, and he's been terrible all season. Like whatever, trade him. Like get some value for him, because people would love to have a Stanley Cup contending, winning goaltender, 4 Nations, Olympics. Like we'll have a solid sample size there. If you think Joel Hofer is ready to take over the reins, do it. Like there's a market for Justin Falk. He's like one of the top producing defensemen in terms of points in the league right now. Like there's not a shortage of moves that can be made by Doug Armstrong and the St. Louis Blues to either shift this team into contention for a playoff if they're still holding out hope on that, or to shift it in the other way and start to build for the future. But my problem is it feels like they don't want to do anything right now, and they're like in the mushy middle. And that's where people start to become numb, is when I'm watching a 5-0 blowout, and I don't feel like I'm not holding my bated breath for a Braden Shen fight, because it's not going to happen because the game's out of hand. I'm not, tuning in to see like what a fantastic game Jimmy Snuggerud has, or Dalibor Dvorsky, because they've struggled this season, and that doesn't feel like the plan to like tank this season and let all these young guys get as many minutes as possible. So like, what am I watching for? Like, sorry, like I know I'm supposed to be a company man, but like, why am I watching this game against the Edmonton Oilers? Like, I need Doug Armstrong and the team to tell me if I'm watching for this team to make a run to the playoffs, then we need to add pieces to do so. If I'm watching this team in the hopes of the future, we need to push further on that side. But we're in the middle right now, and that's what's pissing me off.
I don't know if I could have said it any better, but I love the rant. I think Ace Rob might be doing some other activities later on, but we like to see that some people do have the point in selling. Okay, so Monty said Sundqvist deep cut, didn't get Achilles. That's every positive thing we got right there, but still not good, because he's not going to be right in come next game. But Ace Rob says I'm selling like a crack dealer on a Friday night. LOL.
Sure.
First of all, I mean, probably shouldn't be, but at the second, at least the crack side of it. But that's the thing. Doug Armstrong is never sold. He never plans on selling. He's not that kind of GM. And the thing is with him, though, he's willing to trade. But when was the last time we ever saw him get someone who was a current big name? We've seen big names or former big names, guys who have had great seasons, come in via Doug Armstrong trade, but they're past their prime. 35, 36.
Ryan O'Reilly was probably the last time.
Yeah, but it was like the only one. And that was after everything.
Right.
And
it was like, I mean,
he was in a bad spot. Like, he wasn't really expected. Like, he was a
too.
name, but
His
he was
plus
still in a
minus
bad
was brutal.
spot.
Yeah.
He was the one person like turning around.
And it was also like that team was very much like, there was no doubt about the fact that they were pushing for a Stanley Cup. Like there was he wasn't even the piece that really put them over the top, although I think they were missing that number one center. It was like, I mean, every acquisition they were making in that offseason was like, hey, this team's gearing up for a Stanley Cup run. So
yeah, but I mean, I really don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to be weird because and what I mean by like sold is not like something like there's never been a fire sale. There's been the minor things, but Doug has never had the thing of like, oh my God, why are you just throwing away guys for a bunch of draft picks or, just someone we don't need. Like he hasn't really done a move like that. Not at least that I can remember. Cause
it's more like, I think like I get what I'm picking up what you're putting down in the fact that like the fire sale is what we're talking. Cause like, obviously like in a scenario with like Barbashev, you're like, we don't really think he's going to resign. Like might as well get something for him. Same thing with O'Reilly and then like, and with like Stastny and stuff and that like whole era, it was like, we don't think we're going to make the playoffs. Like we might as well move a little bit, but there hasn't been really like we're in the middle and we want to be like all the way in like lottery pick zone. So we're just going to sell off everybody. Like, I can't remember a time that Doug's done that in recent memory either.
And like, exactly like D Brown saying, like O'Reilly, Tarasenko, Barbie, a lot of those guys, it was cap problems, end of contracts. Those are a lot of guys who are just they're most likely going to leave, or re-signing them would have been absolute hell on the team. So it's one of those things where if you can trade them, you at least get something because you're going to lose them anyway. That's the only time we've ever seen, I guess the sale by Doug Armstrong is when you have to sell or else you're just throwing it away. So it's, putting something on Facebook Marketplace before you throw it in the garbage can is essentially kind of the equivalent of that. But Ace Rob, question to both of you guys: who are you selling? Don't cop out, my friends. See, that's the problem, is that we want the sale, but we don't know who. And I mean, I'm sure Thomas has ideas. I certainly don't have anything
Justin
right
Falk,
now.
Braden Shen, Jordan Binnington.
Those are all the guys that would be like, that would be a true fire sale. Problem is, who are you getting in return? Because unless you got big kahunas like Bill Guerin does to get rid of two players that a lot of people thought to their future to a current star in Quinn Hughes, who are really pushing for a Stanley Cup right now. I mean, we haven't seen Armstrong do a trade like that. And if that's what we're looking for with a fire sale, we're not getting it. If we're just looking to offload and start playing the rebuild, I don't think people are going to be happy about it. Again, like I said earlier, but it's a different lose-lose situation right now. People aren't going to be happy if we get rid of anything. That being said, right now, I think the talks about Binnington are just going to continue to ramp up because they know what he can do. And especially after the Olympics, if something happens, if he doesn't get traded by the deadline, if he proves once again that he can play very well, backed by a fantastic team like he did 4 Nations, he played fantastic. We've seen that throughout the years. He plays his best game when he is not being hung out to dry, when he is putting everything out there when the guys in front of him are doing the same. He's really good at reciprocating what the effort that his team is in front of him. When a team doesn't do well in front of him, he's not going to do well either. And tonight, he actually played decent, but he obviously still put up 5. He let in 5 goals. So I
think D Brown's is talking like he said, I just don't want Armstrong to hold on to guys for a chance. If value can be had for Shen and Falk move, then that's kind of where I'm at. Right. And like,
100%.
It's not that like, I want to get in front of it and just be like, I like best case scenario, I don't want to trade anybody. Right. Like I enjoy all the players on this team. It's just like, you got to deal the cards that you're dealt, and the cards that are being dealt right now are like I said, you're in the middle, and I understand where you're coming from, Jacob, but like also with how Kyle Bloom is working with the Cardinals right now, it feels like after almost a lame duck GM situation with Mozeliak, it was like he's not doing anything. He's on his way out the door. Like as soon as Kyle comes in, he starts kind of doing a fire sale. And like, you didn't get the best trade for Arenado, but now you've got a freed up spot in third base and like an opportunity for someone young to come in there. And I think that is it's not the best case scenario of winning a World Series, but like that's exciting to some people of like actually seeing the rebuild starting to take form because of the actions being made there. So for me, it's like, yes, like I want to see the actions that are being made there. I would not want to lose Braden Shen. I think he's a great captain for this team and a great leader. But if you can get good value for him, put him in a scenario where he can go compete for a Stanley Cup again, because I think he deserves that. I don't think this Blues team is anywhere close to doing that. Justin Falk, same way. Like I think before he retires, like he would love to go compete for a Stanley Cup again, and you giving him an opportunity to do that too. But I will say the one negative part of that, outside of the fact that all these guys are kind of studs for your team, especially Justin Falk kind of tearing it up right now in terms of offensive production. But the drop off for me, when you talk about a guy like Braden Shen, I know I touched on it a little bit, but the willingness to drop the gloves, right? Like we've seen that time and time again with Braden Shen. There's not many guys like Tucker does it occasionally, not nearly as much as I would like him to, because Braden Shen still, 9 times out of 10 is the one that's in that role. Jake Neighbors as well, but it feels like you really have to get the wires crossed for him to drop him. And it feels like, they want him more offensive base and staying out of the box. So, but really it comes down for me, like the identity of the squad and how like, Braden Shen's just kind of like an old time hockey player that like knows the code, knows how, like, regardless of what the score is, like you go out and give it 110% and like, fight through the injuries, like, all of that stuff that's like old age hockey. And I can't think of a guy on the St. Louis Blues that's close to like the chemistry or like the DNA makeup of that, like Braden Shen, old time hockey type of player that the Blues have. That's like close in that regard. Like maybe Jake Neighbors, but that like he's still young and that's a steep drop off there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. He has that leadership quality and that identity factor for this team that like everyone just like relies on him to kind of be the catalyst and be the nucleus of this squad. If you take him away, it's like, yes, someone has the opportunity and someone has to, I think, step up into that role. But if like nobody does, I mean, you just got a bunch of guys standing around pointing at each other like the Spider-Man meme, like, are you going to do it? I'm not going to do it. Are you going to do it? Like, and that's where I think that this team has struggled mightily. It's like everyone's just looking at Braden Shen to be that guy, and we need like 7 of those guys.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to put it. You really could use some guys like that, someone to back them up. But we are backed up, and you should be as well, by Home Bank, who brings us your post game here tonight. From business lending to everyday banking, Home Bank has been with us since day one as a trusted partner. Business is about numbers, about relationships. With Home Bank, those relationships make all the difference. Home Bank is the team behind our team at STL Sports Central. Visit myhomebank.bank or call 855-577-2001. Home Bank, member FDIC, more than a bank. They're your business partner. Well, I'll tell you what, I still got a good transition, unlike the Blues defense, but let's focus just a little bit on tonight. And a lot of people, when you get into a season like this, a lot of people just ignore the present because they're trying to get rid of it. They're trying to get out of it. The fact that they keep losing. Let's take a moment just to talk about tonight. Let's talk about the good things for the Oilers just for a moment, because just to at least flip the switch a little bit. Nugent Hopkins, 1,000th game, scores on his 1,000th game. I think they said it was the 10th player in history to score on both their first game and their 1,000th game, which was pretty crazy. I still don't understand how they find stats like that. It's insane. But at least there's some positives to that. Oilers looking good. They win a cup. Good, nice one for Canada if they really want to. It'd be kind of neat to see. But I think we talked about it the most, and I think you said it there too, right there, just kind of standing around. You look at this team, we talk about the consistency and how it's not there. Tonight it was like they were inconsistent. Every 5 minutes was different. What's got to be a factor here to try and switch that around, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's the question we've been asking ourselves all season, right? It's like I think we're running out of we're kind of scrambling for answers, and it feels like the team is too. It's like even some nights when they get good goaltending from Joel Hofer or Jordan Binnington, like it's like tonight with Binner, like I don't think he was awful in goal. He was doing like his best, but just like Connor McDavid's on the other side, Bouchard's on the other side, like Nugent Hopkins, like it's a loaded squad over there, and your defense wasn't ready for the game. So it's like 5-0. Binner did the best that he could, and you're looking on the wrong end of the result. So it's like, um, I don't I understand people being like, your last line of defense is the goaltending. Like, and this team's goaltending sucks. But I think the whole team is just struggling right now and not had the season that it's been looking for. And I think it's easy to be like, oh, we just get new goaltenders and fixes everything. But it's like, I think we've seen time and time again throughout the NHL that that's not always the case. And it feels to me more like a resounding team problem right now of, not digging deep or even, I mean, I know I talked about this before, but like, I feel like it puts a bad taste in the team's mouth when you're, in the first period, they score on the power play. There's a couple power plays there that you could probably consider like ticky-tacky calls, and Jim Montgomery's on the bench just losing it. Like, quit sending you're sending us lambs to the slaughter pretty much because our penalty kill sucks and this is the best power play in the league, which is valid. And it's like I would get mad about ticky-tack calls too. But at the end of the day, it's like I personally feel that this team is so inconsistent, and at times it seems like so mentally fragile that like if I'm sitting down on the bench ready for a change and my coach is just going nuts over the officiating, like in the first period, I'm gonna be thinking about that like when I go out for my shift, and if they make another call, like I'm gonna be frustrated with the officials, and all of a sudden you're worried about the officials more than you're worried about the game, and it's 5-0. So like, you can't control the officials, you can't control the zebras and the calls that they make, but you can control how you react to them. And I think that's, I don't want to say like I still think Jim Montgomery's a great coach, but I do think that's one of his flaws is like you almost have to be like a beacon of light in that regard to kind of show them like an example of like, hey, like it sucks. This is a brutal call and I don't like it. And I have your guys back, but like good teams overcome, right? It's like the hand pass in 2019. I know Chat hates when we bring up 2019, but it was like one of the greatest years of my life. So I'm going to do it all the time. But like hand pass in 2019, like you got to overcome it, dude. Like it's just, there's going to be obstacles. There's going to be trials and tribulations that every team endures over the course of 82 games. And it's your job as a team to dig deep, find out a way to overcome them, make the playoffs, win the Stanley Cup, and then parade down Market Street or whatever. And I think more often than not, this team is failing to do that on all accounts.
I 100% agree. 100% agree. And, right now, I think the one thing I can really just count on the most is DraftKings. And I will say, and this is a good thing. Hopefully, I get a little bit extra split here. My sister signed up for DraftKings today. First bet makes a win. Live bet, Stephon Diggs, anytime touchdown. 2 plays later, boom, Stephon Diggs right in the end zone.
I will also say the Blues are still currently winless on the season when they've won the last 2 games prior. So keep that in mind as you're perusing these DraftKings apps and these bets and these props and all that stuff. If you're gonna deal with the nightmare that is this blue season so far, you might as well make some money off of it. So
that's for sure.
The patterns are there.
The best way to make money is always through DraftKings, and you can download the DraftKings Sports app now and use code STL Sports. That code STL Sports. One more time, STL Sports, to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or call ccbg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, call dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
All right, Jacob, I want to get your 2 cents on this goal. This put goals in goal at the end there. Connor McDavid comes flying down the wing, Colton Parayko plays pretty solid defense. It's like kind of shoves him down to the ice. McDavid, of course, on one knee, spins a 360, finds Podkolzin on the doorstep, puts it right on his tape, and it's just a backdoor tap in. Jordan Binnington has no chance on. The puck goes through Tyler Tucker's legs as it goes to the mouth of the goal and ends up in the back of the net. I just wanted to get your knee-jerk, passionate, raw, unadulterated reaction to watching that goal happen in real time as an already frustrating result for the St. Louis Blues was starting to rear its head.
Gotta learn how to get a stick in the lane. That was my first reaction was, what the hell is going on? We need to get a stick in the lane, a skate, something. Jesus Christ, move your body. That's pretty much my thought. And yeah, that's pretty much how it went. As I saw the replay, and it went right through Tucker, who didn't even bother to really look for the puck. I mean,
It's
come on,
tough, right? I saw that goal happen, and I was just like, man, if that's not like a microcosm of the St. Louis Blues season in a nutshell, I'm sure I'm gonna see it like all over these highlight reels, like NHL.com, like bar down, these highlight pages are like 360 assists by McDavid, the best to ever do it. And it's like, yeah, dude, it went right between Tyler Tucker's legs. Like, and then there's going to be people that are like, oh, Jordan Binnington in net, so it doesn't count. But it's like, dude, he didn't really have a chance on it. Like the puck was in the corner, and then in a split second, it's like at the mouth of the goal in the back of the net. So it's like, I don't know, dude. It's
infuriating.
Those highlights are going to happen when Connor McDavid's on the ice. It's just tough when you know that, like, I don't know, a competent team or a competent defense is like
would stop that.
Minimizing those chances or stopping it.
When even got to the hash marks, someone would stop that.
Yes, exactly. So that was frustrating for me, and another, step in the direction of, can we just pick a side, please? I'm begging. Like, and Doug Armstrong has said, like, I'm doing my best. And 32 Thoughts, all these insiders are like, the Blues are in. Doug Armstrong's on the phone every day, and he's talking about Robert Thomas as a potential trade partner. Jordan Kyrou's name's been out there. Justin Falks. I'm like, dude, people are making. Quinn Hughes got traded. Like, Rasmus Anderson just got traded to Vegas. I think Vegas is down to like one first-round pick in their entire like history of their team that's actually like taken ice for them. So like, there's deals to be made, is what I'm getting at here. Like, I don't want to hear the excuse of like, well, Doug's like, I'm trying my best, but like, we can't sell Buchnevich in our eyes is an $8 million player in first line minutes. I can't sell him for a second round pick. Dude, do it. Just get us out of the like, do something. Like, I can't just sit here and watch you just like sit by and be like, well, we did everything we could do when you like didn't push the nuclear codes or the buttons or anything really. So like that's been frustrating for me. It's just been like, well, all these people are making trades. Was it the Blues? No. Okay, I'll go back to sleep then.
I mean, I think the one thing I hate about Vegas the most is that they have the Dodgers style of screw the farm system. Let's just buy everyone.
It's a strategy.
All the money we have, and we'll just win a championship with that. It's annoying. But, man, sometimes you go, if you got half of what Vegas did, maybe you could put together a competent team. Maybe you could get some names. Because how many names – I mean, they haven't stuck around. That's the other thing with Vegas. They don't like guys sticking around for more than 2-3 years. But, man, how many guys have flown through Vegas? Names even, studs, whatever you want to call it. So many from the beginning. Blues have had one since then. Maybe two. I'm not even sure. I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing. It's ridiculous. And like you said, like guys like right now, I mean, we should be able and willing to trade guys – even if it's a name, because you saw what happened with Mitch Marner. He was, he was Toronto's guy. Vegas goes, we'll give you these guys. All we need is him. Toronto's like, sure, yeah. So why can't Doug be like, oh, you're willing to give us that? Okay, we'll give you him. Bit ridiculous. Ridiculous. But
plus, it's like to me, it just feels like, I don't know, if Doug Armstrong's negotiating like in good faith, he needs to realize that the position that he's in right now is one that has a severe lack of leverage. So you can't be trying to nickel and dime these guys or fleece somebody like you did with the O'Reilly trade, or like, I don't even know that. I guess that trade's moving a little bit back towards the middle. But like, you know, in these deals in the past where Doug Armstrong has just looked like an absolute genius, like it's not really going to be. There's also been trades where you know, swap Bolduc for Mayu and send Mayu down as soon. So it's like there's been a multitude of scenarios where these trades have different outcomes. But what I'm getting at here is you can't really be Doug Armstrong and be like, oh, I'm going to fleece these guys and make myself look a genius. Like when your team's scraping the bottom of the entire league, like you just don't have that position or that latitude or, you know, the capacity to be able to make maneuvers like that. But like I said, with Kyle Bloom, it's like the action and getting off the bench and picking which side you're on, I think is valid in the eyes of the fans. And that's all that I'm really looking for right now. Is like, I know like internally what I'm thinking every game, but it's like a tug of war between like, do I really want this team to like compete, or is it good that we're getting blown out by the Oilers because it means we're going to get a higher draft pick? Like I want to hear Doug Armstrong explicitly say what he's cheering for at this point in the season, because as we keep getting further along, I'm like, is he still convinced we can make the playoffs? Because like statistically they could, I guess, but like this team's showing us that they don't even have the fight to like, you know, win a game in a series, much less a series. So like, what are his thoughts on it? I would love to hear where his mind is at, because then it would help me have the guidance of like, okay, this is what we should be looking for.
I know what's going through my mind right now. Ivar Stenberg.
I like the sound of that.
I really
Otto's look pretty good. All things considered.
I mean, it's
looked better than Dvorsky at times.
Oh yeah, no, Otto's looking really good. So Ivar, that'll be pretty nice. Gavin McKenna,
little built-in chemistry there.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say it now: if we draft Gavin McKenna, something will be defaced on Enterprise Center. I'm kidding. But you know, that's just kind of the
head. Jacob, shave your head if we get Gavin.
God, no. If I draft Gavin McKenna, I'll do a lot more things than just shave my head.
You just lose your hair naturally.
Dude, yeah. Well, I'll lose.
Pull it out.
Head, if I'm going to be honest, I'll rip it off. I'll be so infuriated. I do not like Gavin McKenna at all. I mean, yeah, he's a decent player, but he's not. I personally think 10th overall pick. Just saying. I think there's a lot more better players than Gavin McKenna. But you know what? We're getting towards the end here. We've gone on, I think, long enough. So, Thomas, you ready to be put on the spot for our money moment of the game here, brought to you by Home Bank, team behind our team at STL Sports Central. Visit myhomebank.bank. Call 855-577-2001. This is all you. I got nothing. So
I actually have a great one. And I'm going to go, my save of the game is my money moment of the game. And it wasn't Jordan Binnington. It was Nick Bjugstad flying across the crease, the puck hitting him in the back and somehow keeping it out of the goal. That was unbelievable. You talk about like effort and work ethic, and whether these guys like, you know, even if they're down 2 goals, like are they keeping their head up? Do they really think that they can still win this game? Like watching Nick Bjugstad, a guy that hasn't even been on this team very long, that's been banged up and down throughout the course of this season, throw himself across the goal line in an attempt to keep the puck out of the net. That was a sight for sore eyes in a game that ended up, you know, kind of upside down for the St. Louis Blues. No pun intended. But that, for me, is my money moment of the game, because we had a bunch of guys pulling that Nick Bjugstad and throwing their body on the line to, you know, keep the team in the game. I think we'd end up with a lot more positive results this season. So that's what I'm going with. You remember that play? That was unbelievable. I was like, what just happened, dude? That was crazy.
Well, Blues will be back in action Tuesday night, taking on the Winnipeg Jets in Manitoba, staying north of the border.
Perfect.
So the only thing that separates them in terms of record now is 2 overtime losses, which Blues have 2 more points than them in that category. Other than that, they're pretty dang even. But until then, make sure you check out all of our socials, subscribe here on the YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us on X, Instagram, but just, you know, all the other stuff. We got all kinds of stuff. And I still see a lot of people, you know, talk about, you know, Gavin McKenna. Yeah, I get that he's, you know, he's being a top guy here, but Penn State's not really doing much. They're not impressing me. He hasn't impressed me yet. I'm just saying that much. So, well, I'm not saying he's not like, you know, not a first round potential. I just don't. I sure as hell don't think he's top 5 personally. That's just my thought. So fight all you want about it. I want Stenberg on this team. If we end up taking, I'm taking Ivar Stenberg 100% of the time. He looked amazing in World Juniors. But make sure to follow us on all of our socials, wherever we may be. Still got to talk about that LinkedIn page, but we'll get there eventually. Make sure you check out the website, all the written content. I know Mike Meyer is going to be cool. He's going to have a fun couple of weeks come the trade deadline. And it's either going to be a lot of content, a lot of written content about Doug Armstrong doing absolutely nothing, the fire sale, or who knows what. But I know he's going to have a lot of fun. So expect a lot out of our buddy there, out of Mike. He's gonna have a lot of typing to do around then. Also, make sure always subscribe to the Insiders program. Got a lot of fun stuff still. Always new stuff we're thinking about. It's going to be, I still have no idea exactly the full extent of the Insiders program. There's so much fun stuff with it. And there's still always going to be new stuff coming up with it. So make sure if you want to have more STL Sports Central and STL Sports, make sure to get in on the Insiders program. And as always, if you're going to bet with DraftKings. Crown is yours. But until Tuesday night, that is Thomas Welsh. I am Jacob Stonick. This has been Blues Central Postgame here on STL Sports Central. And as always, we hope to say it with a little bit more gumption next time. But go Blues.